count them up to 30. So we are doing what? We are trying to call these values. We take this first name, we cause the post method will pick the values that are typed in the form under this name and gets it that name and stores it in the name variable we declared already. So we go to the email, we shall use the same method. So without wasting time, I'll just copy this and put it right there. I also copied this one for the password. So here, I think we called it what? TPass as the name. So we are putting this name down, putting this for the email. We press it there. We also put for the password using copy and paste, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. So for these variables to be for all these statements to be executed, someone must have pressed the button first, called the submit button. Now after that, the values now have been picked. Let's do the next step, validating presence of data. That's what we are going to do here, and say if we can use the word empty or not. We call it the negation symbol, or we pronounce it as not. So I'm using the word empty because the other one you're already familiar with it. So if empty, if this one is empty, we do this. We print this message to the user. Name missing. Then we say else if not. I said use empty. Source a function on its own. If also the email is empty, then we print this other message to the user. Yeah, email missing. Then if the two of them, the email and the name are present, it should execute it. No. Else if again. Else if the password also is empty, should echo out password missing. Else, if all of them are provided, this is where it should execute. This is where it should execute the insert statement that will save that information or that record into the database. But now there are some things we skipped, because this is just the basic code that has no security in any ways. Like if someone did not provide anything, of course, if someone has not provided anything, of course this code will run. But if someone has provided maybe their name, but started by typing their space and then types the name, we don't want to submit that space in the database, because it may bring you some errors if you, for example, trying to search for a certain person, but his or their names were saved with a space. For example, you're searching for Joshua, but that particular record has a space before it. So we may want to remove those spaces from their data. So we do that by using the trim function, which we have to embed, to embed on all the input types that are being picked. So that's one. So that trim function will not allow anyone to submit empty spaces. Names with spaces before or after that name. Then also someone may use special characters that may execute or that may manipulate the database, and maybe it provides them some information that we may not want to be retrieved from the database. So special characters like the quotation marks, the slash, we call it the forward slash, the asterisk, those things, if submitted to the database, can cause what we call SQL injection. You submit those characters, and by anyway, the database responds by querying that database. The database may respond by giving you the results of the queries that you typed in the input types. Like you can type select something from the database via the input type. The text box, the login text box or the registration text box, and that may execute some information that the user never wanted to execute. So what we do to prevent that, let me first open up our folder and see what we are having so far. So what I'm talking about of SQL injection, someone may submit in things like quotation marks, the backslash, the asterisk, and then such means some information, have some meaning in MySQL. So they'll end up giving, instead of submitting this data, it will instead print out what is already stored in the database. To print out it on the screen, and someone may use it to log in and manipulate your database. So we don't want that. So let's try to